So look, it's been an awesome 7 years being a Nintendo Switch gamer. Nintendo Switch is my favorite console of all time. But I'm a little nervous with the Switch 2 on the horizon. We haven't got an announcement yet as of, April 2024. But hopefully soon, maybe summer 2024, we'll get an announcement and actually get to see the next Nintendo console. But is the next Switch going to be a total flop? Is it even going to be something we want or need in our, gaming atmosphere? Is it going to be something that's going to be dead on arrival, coming off the heels of the Nintendo Switch and coming into a market with handhelds like the Steam Deck and the Asus ROG Ally? I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video, because I think it's going to be an interesting next generation for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo gamers. So if you guys are new here and you guys are a big fan of the Nintendo Switch, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we're just going to jump right into it and what I think and how I think the Nintendo Switch 2 can be successful going into this next generation for Nintendo. So let's just reel it back a little bit. This Nintendo Switch, very successful console. Nintendo's, number 2 best-selling console of all time at this time right now. I mean, it's almost up there with the DS, and it's creeping up. It's creeping up, and it might be the best-selling console of all time, and might even surpass the PS2. So, which would be crazy to think about. The console's been out 7 years, and there's been some amazing games for the Switch. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, the Splatoon franchise, Animal Crossing obviously came at a perfect time. There's so many great games on the Switch, I can't name them all. So many great different accessories for the Nintendo Switch, like different grips, different Joy-Con styles. I mean, the system is so versatile. And Nintendo nailed it. They nailed it. Coming off the heels of the Wii U, which was not a very successful console for them, they nailed it. A dockable handheld that you can play at home as a home console, play AAA games on. They really killed it. But this is not 2017 anymore. This isn't even 2019 anymore. What is Nintendo going to do? I own a Steam Deck OLED, and I think the thing's absolutely fantastic. I prefer playing games on that other than my Switch now, because they just look and run better, And the Steam Deck is an amazing console. It does everything that I wish the Switch did. Besides, a couple caveats. I don't like docking the Steam Deck. I think it's kind of annoying. It's big and it's chunky, so it's a much bigger handheld. I mean, I like that because, I'm 45 and I got, big hands, but, I know a lot of gamers probably don't care for the size of the Steam Deck. So what's Nintendo going to do going forward into this next generation? And I think there's a couple of things that are obvious, right? Keep bringing us the great IPs, okay? The next Mario Odyssey, the next Tears of the Kingdom, the Metroid Prime 4, right? We want to see Metroid Prime 4. That would be a great launch title for the Switch 2. So keep bringing these new games with our favorite franchises. That's an obvious. Another obvious thing is more power, right? We all know the next generation console is going to have more power, but how much more power, we still don't know. And is AI going to be a big component into that, to where they don't necessarily need the best chipset, but it's going to have AI to simulate the greatest chipset, or a good chipset, to say the least. Those are two obvious things that we want with the Switch 2. What's the next gimmick, though? And that's where Nintendo can either hit or miss with the next gimmick. Is it going to be some sort of magnetized Joy-Cons, for instance? This MagSafe technology is pretty cool when it comes to cell phones. Are they going to implement that with the Joy-Cons? There's no rail system. It's magnetized on there. They're not going to slide off, and it's just more ease of use, right? Is the next Joy-Con going to be detachable at all? Or is it going to be more comfortable, like a Steam Deck OLED, right? So I think that's one thing that Nintendo really needs to focus on with the Switch 2 is better ergonomics win in handheld mode. I think a lot of gamers do play in handheld mode. I think the last report was 50-50. People play 50% docked. They play docked all the time. And 50% they play handheld all the time. And yes, there's the Switch Lite, right? The Switch Lite for handheld gamers. But I do both. I want to have a comfortable Switch OLED, right, for instance, in my hand. So I use a grip. So I think nailing the ergonomics is a must for the Switch 2. You know, making the Joy-Cons a little bit bigger, getting rid of stick drift completely with Hall effect sensors and all their buttons and thumbsticks and triggers and everything, right? That's a must for Nintendo to really bring it with the Switch 2. Secondly, better build quality. As far as the Joy-Cons go, they feel cheap, plasticky. You know, at least, I don't know. That's what I think. I feel like if I squeeze it hard enough, I can break it. Okay, let's just put it that way. Whereas the Steam Deck and the Asus ROG Ally, they have thicker plastics, more high-quality plastics. Nintendo needs to do that with the next Joy-Con and the next, you know, ergonomics as far as the Switch 2 goes. Another thing that I think Nintendo needs to do is, you know, get rid of this big old huge dock. We don't need this massive dock. It's completely useless, right? I don't know why they built it in the first place, but we don't need it. You know, we need I would like a more slim, you know, something that you just stand it up in the dock and you can see the full screen right there, like something, you know, kind of like in this thumbnail. If you look at the thumbnail of this video, something like that. I think that's another thing. But with just those things right there, I mean, that's not a huge change. That wouldn't be hard for Nintendo to do. And I think that's the right path for Nintendo going forward. Don't change very much besides the little things, you know, like the ergonomics, maybe the dock. Give us some more juice. And that's all you got to do. Call it the Nintendo Switch 2. People know what they're buying. They know what they're getting into. And that will make the Switch 2 successful, in my opinion. You know, the reason why Sony's gone PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, they know it sells. They know what the gamers know what they're getting into. Call it the Switch 2. Super Nintendo Switch 2, right? So people know it's the next generation Switch with better ergonomics, more horsepower. You know, the OLED screen's like perfect on the Switch, right? Keep that screen on there. Maybe a little bit better, whatever, like a QLED or what, I don't know. Just make the screen really nice and beautiful. But that's all you got to do, Nintendo. Keep it the way that it is, but yet change some subtle things to it. And I think that will make the Switch 2 more successful in this next generation and make Nintendo Switch family of consoles the best selling ever in video game history. But going back to Nintendo's history, we all know that they like to add in a little gimmick here and there. So who knows what they'll do with the Switch 2, and hopefully it's something that we can all adapt to. Hopefully it'll be an inspiration for other video game makers and other hardware makers, instead of making it something that we all dislike and can't stand. So Nintendo, if you're listening to this video, which I'm sure you're not, and you probably never will, please keep the Switch the way that it is, besides better ergonomics and more horsepower. And I promise you, I know for a fact that I would want that instead of some new gimmicky thing like another screen that attaches via magnets or something. I don't want that. And I'm sure a lot of gamers and hardcore gamers and Nintendo fans don't want that. We love the Switch. We want it the way that it is. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.